All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Kadash. That's the name of the Heavenly Father and the name of His Son and in the name of the Holy Spirit. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth. Those are the men whom the Heavenly Father appointed in these last days to push out His word. And salutations to all the hopeful elect that's pushing out this word in truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe. Those are the prophets that's also continuing the furtherance of this word in today's time. All right, so I'm gonna get into a lesson, land backing off my last lesson that I just did with the response to the national strategy of defense or national defense strategy of the United States, and I mentioned how they was going to try to push, make us look like terrorists, man. And this was a article that came out from the Washington Post last year in October. It says October 19th, 2017. The title says, "We say Black Lives Matter. The FBI says that makes us a threat to security." Right. So pretty much there's a lot in that. Anyway, I'll just start from the basics, man. We are under our enemies, man. We are under the authority of our enemies, man. And if we complain about, when we do complain about what we're going through, it seems like that's a threat unto them. That's a threat unto them. Now this is why we don't label ourselves Black Hebrew Israelites, man, because they want to lump us into one category. All right. So then if they're able to infiltrate that, if they're able to infiltrate that group, they can blame all of us, man, and bring us all down as terrorists, man. Because it's no more going to be no criminals, man. They're going to lump everything under terrorism, which under those things, you're not going to have any rights. All right. It says the government is labeling activists as Black identity extremists. Now, on the FBI report, they got FBI, they labeled them BIEs, man, Black identity extremists. So anybody that identifies with certain things, including the religion, they can deem you as a terrorist, man. And just keep in mind, you're not breaking any laws, man. What we doing, we go out on the corners. We're not breaking any laws. When they going out there and peacefully protesting, they're not breaking any laws. But you see, when they protest, you got a whole bunch of cops surrounding them. I'm talking about these so-called Black Lives Matters, man. They got a whole bunch of cops around them when they peacefully protesting. But then when the Edomites and the KKK protest, the police are escorting them, man. So it shows you who this country is really for. Now, the First Amendment, it says it guarantees the freedoms concerning religion, expression, assembly, and the right to petition. So you're not breaking no laws when you're doing that, But they want to make it as a criminal because when Jake do something, it's seen as a super threat. But when Esau does something, so-called white people do something, it's just something wrong with them, man. Just like the opioid epidemic, it's a sickness. Now it's a sickness. But when Jake was going through it, or in the crack era or the heroin era, in DC and in Baltimore now, they criminalized them. So I'm going to keep reading a little bit of this and then I'm going to get into the lesson. It says, this past summer, the FBI's Counterterrorism Division, which investigates terrorist threats from groups such as Al-Qaeda, invented a brand new label and a brand new threat. And in an intelligence assessment written in August but first disclosed by Foreign Policy last week, the FBI designated a new group of domestic terrorists, which those domestic means, homegrown, like say in the United States. All right. It's domestic and international. Black identity extremists, or BIEs. The report broadly categorizes Black activists as threats to national security. And I'm entitled this lesson, Rebels to Society, man, because that's ultimately what we is, man. That's what so-called Christians always was. That's what Yahweh Shah was, man. The followers of Yahweh Shah. And remember, we're not in our land, so the rest of our people are also seen as threats, man. But the real targets, who they really want, which is why they doing this, because they set up Black Lives Matter. They set up Black Lives Matter so they can ultimately get us, man. You know? That's what the title of this is going to be, Rebels to Society, man. And I'm going to get into what I mean by that. But, yeah, you know, it says, where was I? It says, the report broadly categorizes black activists as threats to national security. It uses unrelated acts of violence such as the 2016 shootings of police officers in Dallas and Baton Rouge as justification for targeting black dissident voices, and it labels black activists whose central demands are government officials be responsible stewards of their power, accountable to the people who elect them, and transparent about decision making as a threat to national security. Salaki Akim, hold on. Hey, Shalom, Mak. Yabashim Shabrakata, Bashim Rakadash. I was getting a ride. Hummy. What's good? All right, come. Just let me know. I'm in the middle of this video, so just text me or something. Come. Yabashim Shabrakata. Shalom. Hey, Salaki Akim. But yeah, so pretty much it says it uses unrelated acts of violence such as the 2000. So pretty much what they do is, and they set up these damn terrorist attacks, these little threats, like these shootings, and then so they're able to pin it on Jake, which they did back in the time with the Black Panthers, even though, and that was set up. But they use COINTELPRO, where they infiltrate a group and then they start the violence so they can come blame you, man. You know. So now they're using these little incidents, like and I know the brothers in Dallas remember that the dudes who shot the police. You know. They use those as ways to label us as terrorists, man. You know? So I'm gonna just get straight into the lesson. Well, before I do that, because I wanted to show you, brothers, these devils, these tricks that they up to, man. Where was it? Right here. Because I mentioned this in my last video and I had to go look it up. Check this out. Damn, I need a better picture. Look, check this out, brothers. Look at this picture, man. You know, it says God is coming. Exodus 2, U.S. will. I can't really see that part, but it says Hebrew, Deuteronomy 28. The real Israelites are rising, man. Now what? This is why we don't lump ourselves. You got people wanting to say, oh, why don't all Israelites come together? Blah, 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 blah. You know? That's why, man. And this might not even be from Israelites. This might be from the so-called white man himself, man. You know? But they just trying to build up a case to make you terrorists, man. This is July 14th, 2016. It says, for the second time in less than a year, half a dozen churches in the St. Louis area have been the targets of attempted arson and what appears to be hate-related graffiti. There have been no arrests in the latest string of arsons and vandalism, primarily carried out during hours of darkness. It says the graffiti, I'm gonna jump down. The graffiti seems to suggest a possible link to the black Hebrew Israelites, followers of a hate-filled religion whose black supremacist members believe they are the true Jews. Hey, see, hey, this is what they trying to do, man. You know? Hold on, let me read a little bit more. It says the black nationalist separatist movement with active chapters in several U.S. cities preaches that white people are incarnates of the devil, members of virulently anti-Semitic and anti-Catholic, anti-LGBT, and anti-Muslim, anti-white, anti-Asia, and anti-East Indian. See? And that's what I read in the last video talking about haters of all humans. Hey, but that's what they trying to do, man. You know? They trying to make, here it is, we at the bottom. Here it is, all these nations use us. we being the ones oppressed, which is undeniable, and they want to make us out to be the haters of the world, man. But that's why the lesson of this is going to be called Rebels to Society, man. You know? I'm going to get straight into the lesson off that. This is John 15, verse 19. Salaki, if you know, I ain't wanted to be super long, but it is what it is. This is John 15, verse 19. It says, if ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Right, the Lord chose us out of the world because what? All Israel is supposed to be pretty much rebels of the world, man. We're supposed to have our own world. We separate. We're supposed to be holy people. Now, the majority of our people, they are entrenched into this world, man. They have fallen into the snare being around these heathens, man, which is why the Heavenly Father didn't want us to mingle ourselves against them at one point. Then when we did mingle with them, it was to try us. But a lot of our people was entrenched in this world. So now they looking at us as the rebels to society as well, because they think that they are part of this society or part of this world. That's why the scriptures say, if ye were of the world will love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. So the world hates us. That's because we believe in the way the scriptures view the world, man. But the world views, if we spoke like, oh, God loves everybody, he was a white man, the world will love us, man. It says, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my sayings, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. If I had not spoken unto them, they had not had sin, but now they have no cloak for their sin. He that hateth me hateth my Father also. Right. So, hey, pretty much, it's the same way now. We not above our master. The Lord was persecuted because what? The Lord was always, what is it? The most, Yahweh Shai was always subversive, or Christianity or the gospel was always subversive, man. It was not, the scriptures say, think not that I came to send peace upon the world, but a sword. He came to bring division. You know, they called Yahweh Shai a radical, man. And it called him a revolutionary, although he didn't harm no one, man. So look it up. They called Jesus a radical, man. That's what I mean. His name was Yahweh Shai, but if you look it up, say you got to type in Jesus or whatever, man. You know? He didn't harm nobody. He didn't kill nobody, but they called him a rebel, man. You know? And I'm going to show the correlation. So, real quick, I wanted to get the words because I wrote it down. You know, a rebel is a person who rises in opposition or armed resistance against an established government or ruler. So they tried to say that Yahweh Shai was going to try to start up his own kingdom, but that's not what he was doing, that's not what we doing. We talking about, we preaching the word and saying, wait upon the Lord. Here it is. We don't have no superior weapons. They know this, you know, but that's what they want to do. I looked up the etymology. It says rebel, the noun, person who makes war on his country for political motives. Mid 14th century, rebel, meaning supporter of the American cause in the War of Independence. That's pretty much the part on that. Let me get the verb. It says, well, this is the verb. The adjective stubborn, obstinate, rebellious, insurgent, to rebel or revolt, opposite, against, or perhaps again, wage war. Right, so that's what they look at, you know, as a rebel. You know, a rebellion. It says war waged against a government by some portion of its subjects. So pretty much they look at us as transgression or infringing upon their laws, man. Although we didn't break any laws. This is the thing. I just read the First Amendment earlier. We not breaking any laws in what we're doing, but they making it seem like you're breaking the law, man, because you're going against their views. All right. And this is what we was always supposed to be. This is I'm staying in the scriptures. This is Ezra 4. And this is deep because we read this at the camp last week, man. You know, well, they wanted, when we said they have nothing to do to build up, they wanted to build up our kingdom our temple. The heathens wanted to build up the temple with us, man. But we told them they had nothing to do to build up a house unto our power, man. Because then if they was doing it, then they would try to make us see, go with their views, man. You know. But I'm gonna start from 11. Ezra 4 verse 11. It says, "This is the copy of the letter that they sent unto him, even unto Artaxerxes the king, thy servants, the men on this side of the river, and at such time be it known unto the king that the Jews which came up from thee unto us are come unto Jerusalem, building the rebellious and the bad city, and have set up the walls thereof and joined the foundations." Right. So they was going to let us build up our temple, and these damn heathens come up to the authorities like, yo, this is a rebellious city and bad city, you know? And what I just read the definition of rebel and rebellious. So now he like, whoa, they rebellious. You know, hold up. Let me think about this. He's saying they building it up now. You got to stop it. It says, be it known now unto the king that if this city be builded and the walls set up again, then will they not pay toll, tribute, and custom, and so thou shalt endamage the revenue of the kings. Right. So now they're saying if you let them build this up, they're gonna transgress against you. They're gonna go against you, man. You know, it says now because we have maintenance from the king's palace, and it was not meet for us to see the king's dishonor, therefore have we sent and certified the king. Right. So they trying to say that you know, they for the king's cause, man, and they didn't want to see it to go down, so they had to let them know what it was. It says that search may be made in the book of the records of thy fathers, so shalt thou find in the book of the records, and know that this is a rebellious city and hurtful unto kings and provinces, and that they have moved sedition within the same of old time, for which cause was this city destroyed. So they saying the city was destroyed because they used it. They brought up sedition, man. Which, let me see that word. This word sedition. It means, Salakia. It says conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or a monarch. So that's what they trying to say. That's what they said the Israelites always did, man. that they provoke people to rebel against the authority, you know. Where was I at? Let me jump down. This is Ezra 4 verse 19 says, I command and search have been made, and it is found that this city of old time have made insurrection against kings, and that rebellion and sedition have been made therein. There have been mighty kings also over Jerusalem, which have ruled over all countries beyond the river, and told tribute and custom was paid unto them. Give ye now commandment to cause these men to cease, and that this city be not builded until another commandment shall be given from me. See? So, hey, they didn't want it. He didn't want it to be built after that, man. You know? He didn't want it to be built after that, man. You know? Let me jump to the book of Ezra. I got to bring up this Apocrypha. Same thing. This is your history, you so-called Negroes, man. Latinos and Native Americans. This is what they really think of you. This is why they held you down, man. They authorities from the jump. This is 2nd Esdras 2 verse 18. It says, be it known to the Lord King that the Jews that are up from you to us, being come into Jerusalem, that rebellious and wicked city, do build the marketplaces and repair the walls of it, and do lay the foundation of the temple. Now, if this city and the walls thereof be made up again, they will not only refuse to give tribute, but also rebel against kings. And for as much as these things pertaining to the temple are now in hand, we think it meet not to neglect such a matter. Right. And that's pretty much the same account, man. Saying the same thing. But this is proving that the Apocrypha is biblical, man. It goes with the scriptures. And this is history, man. You can find this in secular history, although they try to hide these parts that mentions the Jews. But you think that they don't have these in their histories, man? It says, where I'm at. Yeah, neglect such a matter. It says, but to speak unto our Lord the King, to the intent that if it be thy pleasure, it may be sought out of the books of the fathers. Well, I just read that part, man. You know? So I wanted to go to editions of Esther, man. I just wanted to show you the correlation. Let me get Judith first. This is what is this? Nebuchadnezzar. Holly Furness. This is Judith 2. Verse 11. It says, but concerning them that rebel, let not thine eyes spare them, but put them to the slaughter, and spoil them wheresoever thou goest. For as I live, and by the power of my kingdom, whatsoever I have spoken, that will I do by my hand. And take thou heed that thou transgress none of my commandments of the Lord, but accomplish them fully as I have commanded thee, and defer not to do them. Then Holofernes went forth from the presence of his Lord, and called all the governors and captains and officers of the army of Ashur, which pretty much the king Nebuchadnezzar, he was trying to conquer that whole city. But he said, for them that rebel against us, then you deal with them, man. Slaughter them, you know? I wanted to get, oh man. And should call upon him as God. Right. And this is what these heathens wanted to do, man. I'll just read it. I'm going to just read 7 and 8. But read these chapters, brothers. This Judith 3, verse 7. It says, So they and all the country round about received them with garlands, with dances and timbrels. Yet he did cast down their frontiers and cut down their groves, for he had decreed to destroy all the gods of the land, that all nations should worship Nebuchadnezzar only, and that all tongues and tribes should call upon him as God. Right. And that's what he wanted. Nebuchadnezzar wanted all tongues and tribes to call upon him as God, man. So even though they received him, he destroyed all that we had, man. They oppressed the man in his own heritage. They wouldn't allow our people to be ourselves, man. Which is why we have to go against them. You know? What is that? Verse 5. Judith 5, verse 1. It says, Then was it declared to Holofernes that the chief captain of the army of Ashur, that the children of Israel had prepared for war, and had shut up the passages of the hill country, and had fortified all the tops of the high hills, and had laid impediments in the Champagne countries, wherewith, because we had to go against him because he wanted us to worship him as God. It says, wherewith he was very angry, and called all the princes of Moab, and the captains of Ammon, and all the governors of the sea coast. And he said unto them, Tell me now, ye sons of Canaan, who this people is that dwelleth in the hill country, and what are the cities that they inhabit, and what is the multitude of their army, and wherein is their power and strength, and what king is set over them, or captain of their army. Right. So he trying to understand, like, who is these people? Why is they got the nerve to fight against us? Like, why is they so confident? You know, because they had all, you just mentioned Moab, the kings of Ammon, you know, all these different countries that they already had on their side, and Israel was still going against them. It says, and why have they determined not to come and meet me more than all the inhabitants of the west? Then said Achior, the captain of all the sons of Ammon, Let my Lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant, and I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people, which dwelleth near thee, and inhabit the hill countries, and there shall no lie come out of the mouth of thy servant. This people, right. So he was trying to determine who we were, man, and why we ain't coming out and meet them. It says, this people are descendant of the Chaldeans, and they sojourned heretofore in Mesopotamia, because they would not follow the gods of their fathers, which were in the land of Chaldea. Right. Yeah, that's when we left the false gods, man. Which is going to say, for they left the way of their ancestors and worshiped the Most High of heaven, the power of heaven, the power whom they knew. So they cast them out from the face of their gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia and sojourned there many days. Then their power commanded them to depart from, which I don't want to read all this, you know. But I'm going to jump down. It says, Jude 5 verse 17, and whilst they sinned not before their power, they prospered because the Most High that hateth iniquity was with them. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs, and the temple of their power was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by their enemies. But now are they returned to their power, and are come up from the places where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where the sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their power before them, and we become a reproach before all the world. So they know, man, this is in the histories, they know that if we with our power, then he gonna fight for us, which is why they set up these laws to make us go against the Heavenly Father, man, so they can reign over us, you know? So that's why when we go against this way and try to be righteous, that's going against their ways, man, because they don't want us to be going with the ways of the Heavenly Father, man, you know? What's that? This is what they called us, man. Hold up. This is Esther 4. I believe it's the 4th chapter. Come on, man. Satan. It's not trying to pop up. Satan, man. Satan. Devil. It's all good. If it don't work, I'm going to just get it. Yeah, I'm going to just get it in here on my thing. This is Editions of Esther 4 verse 4. Oh, it's not working on here either. Satan. Well, anyways, man. Oh, man. Satan, man. Yeah, it's just not working on that thing. I can get it right here in my playbooks. But it's slightly different words. You know, still the same. Are you kidding me, man? Oh, my goodness. All right, here we go. Slocky Akim. I need to go a little bit further. Here we go. See, now I'm confused. I ain't gonna waste time on this part, you know. Wait. It says, okay, I'll just read it from right here, man. Satan. Trying to mess up the flow. But I don't know if you brothers can see it around this verse right here. I'm going to start from verse 3. It says, this is Editions of Esther 4, verse 4. It says, now when I asked my counselors how this might be brought to pass, a man that excelled in wisdom among us and was approved for his constant goodwill and steadfast fidelity and had the honor of the second place in the kingdom, declared unto us that in all nations throughout the world throughout the world there was scattered a certain malignant people that had laws contrary to all nations and continually set aside the commandments of the kings, so as the uniting of our kingdoms honorably intended by us cannot go forward, seeing then we understand that this nation is alone continually in opposition unto all men following perversely a life which is strange to our laws, and Salakia, man, and evil affected to our state, working all the mischief they can, that our kingdom may not be firmly established. See? So they called us a malignant people, man. You know? Define malignant.
Of a disease, very virulent or infectious. Do you want to hear the remaining one?
Yeah, it says of a disease, you know? Infectious. So they called us infectious people, man. You know? It said we have laws contrary to all nations and continually set aside the commandments of kings, man. And we do that when they try to make us go against our laws, man. But when we're in captivity, we follow the laws of the land. Unless they make us go against the laws of the Most High. Like in the book of, who was that? Daniel. The book of Daniel, man. When they wanted them to worship him. And Daniel didn't do it. All right. But he was a faithful servant at the time, man. You know. This is, go back into the New Testament. Now I'm going to show you. This is during Yahushua's time or a little bit after. This is Acts 17. Because we already seen them do that to Yahushua. Right. This is Acts 17. Verse 2. It says, and Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the scriptures. For 3 weeks he reasoned with them out of the scriptures, man. Opening and alleging that Hamashiach must needs have suffered and risen again from the dead, and that this Yahushua whom I preach unto you is Hamashiach. And remember, they killed Yahushua for saying that he was the Messiah, the Son of the Heavenly Father. It says, and some of them believed and consorted with Paul and Silas, and some of the devout Greeks, a great multitude, and of the chief women, not a few. So some people believed when he went into the scriptures, you know, and broke it down to them like we doing. It says, but the Jews which believed not, moved with envy, took unto them certain lewd fellows of the baser sort, and gathered a company, and set all the city on an uproar, and assaulted the house of Jason, and sought to bring them out to the people. And when they found them not, they drew Jason and certain brethren unto the rulers of the city, crying, these that have turned the world upside down are come hither also, whom Jason have received, and these all do contrary to the decrees of Caesar, saying that there is another king, one Yahushua. And they troubled the people and the rulers of the city when they heard these things. See, so they pulled out the people that even listened, man, and said that they received these men that was teaching these things. And you see what they did? They played on the emotions of the people. They said that these have turned the world upside down. When all we doing is turning the world right side up, man. Making things as it was before. You know? It says, and then what he say? He said they do things contrary to the decrees of Caesar, and saying that there is another king, one Yahushua, which he is the king, man. You know? But these demons, they was what? They was good in America, man. They liked the way the authority was, man. They wasn't being oppressed, so they didn't take heed to these words, man. You know? They was friends of the world. This is James 4. And that's why you're supposed to go against that, man. It says, verse 4, ye adulterers and adulteresses, ye know not that the friendship of the world is enmity with the Most High? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is an enemy of the Most High. See? So you want to be a friend of the world, you're an enemy of the Most High. This world tells you that everybody's supposed to come together. But the scriptures, we supposed to be separate and apart, man. Which is why we're rebels to the society, man. You know? When you look at that, you think of, oh, we being destructive. Nah, we not being destructive, man. You know, we just doing what the scriptures say, man. You know? The prophets was always charged with being troublemakers, if you will, man. you know, causing trouble in the land. You know? You know, they say that we pervert the nations, man. And that's why, look, what's that guy? I got James 17. I'm going to go back to Acts. Because they're going to do the same thing to Paul, man. Shalakia. This is Acts 21. It says, Acts 21 verse 8, and the next day we that were of Paul's company departed and came into Caesarea, and we entered into the house of Philip the evangelist, which was one of the 7, and abode with him. Is this what I want? Nah, Salakia, man. I'm at 28. This verse 26 says, then Paul took the men, and the next day, purifying himself with them, entered into the temple to signify the accomplishment of the days of purification, until that an offering should be offered for every one of them. And when the 7 days were almost ended, the Jews which were of Asia, I just wanted to, you know, point that out, when they saw him in the temple, stirred up all the people and laid hands on him, crying out, men of Israel, help. This is the man that teacheth all men everywhere against the people and the law and this place, and further brought Greeks also into the temple and have polluted this holy place. Right. So they pretty much tried to say, Paul, he teacheth all men everywhere against the people and the law and this place. And they say he brought Greeks also into the temple and have polluted the holy place, which that's what they can say about us now, because we say that it's a confusion of faces. So when we bring in people, they try to say that, yo, you going against the laws, man. I'm talking about Jews, man. You know, fellow Israelites, man. You know, they say he teaches all men everywhere against his people, man. What line was that? It says, I just keep reading forward. They had seen before with him in the city Trophius and Ephesian, whom they supposed that Paul had brought into the temple. And all the city was moved, and the people ran together, and they took Paul and drew him out of the temple, and forthwith the doors were shut. And as they went about to kill him, tidings came upon the chief captain of the band that all Jerusalem was in an uproar, who immediately took soldiers and centurions and ran down unto them. And when they saw the chief captain and the soldiers, they left beating of Paul. You know, just keep reading now. I just want to keep going to the next one. This is Acts 24, verse. Yeah, this is Acts 24, verse 1. It says, and after 5 days, Ananias the high priest descended with the elders and with a certain orator named Tertullus, who informed the governor against Paul. And when he was called forth, Tertullus began to accuse him, saying, seeing that by thee we enjoy great quietness, and that very worthy deeds are done unto this nation, by thy providence we accept it always and in all places, most noble Felix, with all thankfulness. Notwithstanding that I be not further tedious unto thee, I pray thee that thou wouldest hear us of the clemency a few words. For we have found this man a pestilent fellow, and a mover of sedition among all the Jews throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes, who also have gone about to profane the temple, whom we took and would have judged according to our law. So they called him a pestilent fellow, man, you know, which a pestilent is a corrupt or disturbance, man. So they were saying he was the damn pestilence himself, man. You know, a man who corrupts the morals of others, man. Exciter of sedition, you know. So he said, what'd he say? He says, whom also have gone about to profane the temple, whom we took and would have judged according to our law. So he also referred to their belief that he had been the cause of the extensive disturbances everywhere, among the Jews, man. So that pretty much he objected into the higher authority as Paul was a danger to the state, man. And throughout all of Rome. So the Most High, like we said, man, the prophet is always charged with this, man. We're gonna be charged with the same thing, man. All because you disrupting the norm, We not supposed to, us as Israelites, we're not supposed to have respect to everybody's religion, man. We got rough with the feathers, so to speak, man. If you believe and worship what is right, you gotta say what you believe is wrong, And they got fake gods, and that's a bold statement. That angers them, man. So the world teach you to respect other people's opinions, man. But that's not what we're supposed to do when we concerning our people, man. And we know it for a fact, but that's offensive to them, man. So let me get some more. Okay. This is Isaiah 59. I think it was Isaiah 13. This is Isaiah 13, verse 2. It says, "Lift ye up a banner upon a high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness." Right. That's what we doing, man. We lifting up the banner upon a high mountain, man. We exalting the voice unto them, shaking the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles, man. So that's what we doing, man. We ruffling their feathers, man. That they gonna go into the authorities, man, because we becoming a problem, man. We becoming a problem. He said he commanded his sanctified ones, which is us. He have also called his mighty ones for his anger, even them that rejoice in his highness, which is the elect, man. It says, "The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahweh of hosts musters the host to the battle," man. And that's what we seeing, man. But we supposed to shake the hand that we may go to the gates of the nobles, man. And that's what we doing, man. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Let's get a couple more and I'm gonna close. What is it? Well, I'm gonna just get this one. Because, we been brought up for the Lord's sake, man. It's Isaiah 26, verse. What is it? Can't think of it. I know it's Isaiah 26. What is it? Dang. Can't think of it. Okay, this is and this is the mindset that we should be in, man. It says Isaiah 26, verse 12, "Yahweh, thou wilt ordain peace for us, for thou also hast wrought all our works in us. O Yahweh, our power, other lords besides thee have had dominion over us, but by thee only will we make mention of thy name." So we're only making mention of the Lord's name, man. Even though we under the authority of these heathens, by him we only mention the Lord's name, man. So when they bring us to these authorities, man, this is the mindset that we should be in. It's Psalms 119, verse 46. It says, "I will speak of thy testimonies also before kings, and I will not be ashamed." Right. We ain't supposed to be ashamed, man. Because we standing up for righteousness, man. Not only do we enlist in the Most High's army because we're in debt to him and need his grace, but because he's for our cause, man. He's fighting for our cause, man. That's why he's gathering the troops in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, man. He's what they would call today a true patriot, man. He's for his countrymen and for our best interest, man. He pleading our cause, man. So why would you be ashamed of that? Now you doing the same thing, you know? Which, let me get this. And I'm going to close. This is the last one because we're doing the same thing. Now, when we do the same things as him, this is what we going to get as reward. This is 2 Timothy 2 verse 6. The husband that laboreth must be first partaker of the fruits, right? So now we've been, of course, Yahweh Shai, but now we are following that. We following that. So we're going to be parts of the first fruits, man. It says, consider what I say, and the Lord give thee understanding in all things. Remember that Yahweh Shai HaMashiach of the seed of David was raised from the dead according to my gospel. So according to what he was teaching, Yahweh Shai, the Messiah, was raised from the dead. It says, wherein I suffered trouble as an evildoer, even unto bonds, but the word of the Most High is not bound. So them Jews, the wicked ones, they was like, man, now he's speaking blasphemies, man. So now he suffered as an evildoer. He looked at somebody that was profaning the laws, man. Although he was saying what was true. That's why we strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord gonna fight for us, man. He said, but the word of the Most High is not bound. So he got the word out there. It says, verse 10. It says, therefore I endure all things for the elect's sake, that they may also obtain salvation, which is in Hamashiach Yahushua with eternal glory. So we enduring these things so that the ones who ain't know yet, they may obtain salvation, man. And that's what Paul was doing. It says, it is a faithful saying, for if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him. If we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he will also deny us. If we believe not, yet he abideth faithful, and he cannot deny himself. So, hey, man, if we suffer with him, we going to reign with him, man. And if we deny him, he going to deny us, man. So, hey, just continue to push this word. We know what they got coming down the pike.